Hello everybody, welcome back to 10-Minute Reviews. Jason here bringing you today's video. So real fast, I don't want to make this too long for an intro, so I'm going to try and compress it. Thank you very much to our fans. Thank you very much to our patrons. Don't forget to check the links down below for links to today's book, any other applicable links. And don't forget to check the end of the videos for details on our contests. I'm going to be running a contest on the main channel, and I'm going to have a couple of contests on the Patreon, so don't forget to check that as well. Got a bunch of signed books and stuff that I want to give away. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and jump straight into today's video. Don't forget to check those links down below, guys. Got more information down there. Catch you soon. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about Primal Hunter Book 5. Guys, this series has rapidly become my absolute all-time favorite lit RPG, even above Defiance of the Fall, which has actually dropped a couple slots now, down to about 3rd or 4th. It just continues to get better and better and better every single book. So in 5, we are back with Jake, and we've got that challenge event. The challenge event that was kind of being built up in the previous book, and with this challenge event, it's an interesting event. We go to another world, Yalston, I think it was, and we get introduced to a couple of new things. Vampires. We get introduced to vampires, which gets pretty interesting because then we start learning a little bit more about the history of this multiverse. Because again, we're what, the 93rd, 97th universe to be integrated into the system. So there's been billions, if not trillions, of years of all these different races within the system, all building up. They have their different histories. You know, just like the Order of Viper that has quite a history to it, and as it's coming back and sort of rebuilding, a lot of that history is coming into play. The vampires have quite the interesting history in a lot of ways. Unlike a lot of fantasy-esque kind of things, the vampires in some ways are almost persecuted. Of course, they were hunted in almost anything that you read about vampires, but in this case, it almost becomes sort of a persecution. Like, the vampires are not necessarily evil, although, as we learned about the history, mistakes were made. Now, this one, they're not quite able to figure out whether this is actually a shard and a remnant of this little pocket dimension that the vampires had created to try and survive, or if this is a memory of it, basically, that was recreated by the system just for this challenge event. Don't ever really get an answer to that, and oftentimes with things like this, there really is no answer, because the system seems to be able to just do whatever the hell it wants. So we get introduced to the vampires. There's, of course, lots of loot out there and some very, very interesting challenges. We get to see Sylphie kind of going off on her own, sort of. I mean, she's kind of teaming up, but she's off away from Jake, trying to do her own challenges. You've got Jake out there hunting around, trying to do his challenges, and of course, there's this ultimate challenge at the very end that if everything works out right, then people can try and do this challenge. Although they do have the option at that point to leave the challenge successfully, having kept all of their stuff. Leave the challenge at that point because the final boss. So those of you guys that play RPG games, the BBEG, is extraordinarily powerful. We even get some things such as, I don't know, maybe an ambush or two on Jake that does not go very well. Some interesting alliances. He makes a couple of I won't call them friends, but a couple of new allies. Learns again a little bit more about the history of the multiverse. Gets a lot more clues of things that are happening. There's a couple of very, 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 very minor things that are almost like side notes that become kind of funny in some later books as far as how it all shakes down. What's also really, really cool about this is that we finally start learning a little bit more. we've already been introduced to Earth's other elites, but now we start seeing them coming up more to the forefront of the action. We start really seeing them shine. And it gets even more interesting because while Jake is clearly a powerhouse, and that's not even counting his various allies that are not entirely human but are extraordinarily powerful, but just by himself, he is an elite, one of Earth's elites. In a lot of ways is considered the Earth elite, the most powerful, not just with his connections and his backing, of course, the Viper and everything else, but just his sheer power. Even these other elites that are on Earth and defending Earth and are powerful don't really think they can, they're not really at Jake's level. But we see a few more, we start seeing a few that it's hard to say. I mean, there's one that's very, very interesting. He might be unkillable. It's strange. Whether or not he could defeat Jake, who knows? But could Jake kill him? Who knows? We're not entirely certain. And we still have that question of who would win, the Sword Saint or Jake? Because the Sword Saint is turning into his own semi-mythological creature here. And he has an interesting storyline, especially at the very, very end. It's pretty cool. He's a pretty awesome character in and of himself. Is he interesting enough that maybe there could be a spin-off book? Not as of yet, but as a side supporting character, semi-main character, he's pretty awesome. He really starts to come into his own at the end of this book. And we do kind of get a little, let's see who's tougher between the Sword Saint and Jake, which is pretty cool. Which occurs at the end of right around the same time as this big boss fight. So, Primal Hunter, it's just an awesome book. I hope I didn't give away any spoilers on that. I was trying not to. Awesome book, awesome series, one of the best that I have ever seen, one of the best that I've read, and I look forward to every single book that comes out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget our contest. We'll catch you next time. Bye now. Welcome back. So for our contests, so for the contest here on the main channel, I'm going to be running 2 contests for this month. The contest will end at the end of April. Just email me at reviewsinten@gmail.com. Put contest in the subject line so I do not skip past it. I do get a lot of emails. And I'm actually going to be running 2 contests. Email me for the first contest. Email me your suggestions for 4 categories of books. You don't have to send me 4 suggestions. Some people don't read certain categories, and that is certainly fine. Just email me your suggestions of books that I have not reviewed. Doesn't mean I haven't read them, but that I have not reviewed in 4 genres: sci-fi, lit RPG, cultivation, and the harem lit. Of course, I'm missing fantasy, but that comes up a lot with cultivation and with lit RPG and with the harem lit, so I'm just kind of leaving that one out. And I will pick of my favorites out of that. I will pick a winner, and I have a signed copy of Advent 9 by T. Alan Horn, and that will be going to that winner. I do actually have a bunch of books for further contests as well, but it's a signed copy of Advent 9 by T. Alan Horn that I will send out to the winner. And the second contest going on the main channel is pick a book. Pick a book that you've read that I have not reviewed, and email me a quick little personal review. If you can talk me into reading that book, the winner of that one will receive a signed copy of J.J. Thorne's Apocalypse Assassin, right? Yeah, Apocalypse Assassin, which I've reviewed this one. I've also reviewed Advent 9. So again, put contest in the subject line, and if you're interested in maybe getting a complete set of Mickey Kare's or the Heavy Weight of It All Book 1, also signed, check out our Patreon. I've got 2 contests that will be going on there as well. Thanks everybody. Hope you guys enjoy the videos, and don't forget to email me. Bye now.